Now we have hope. The strength of the START community. Presented by the Center for START Services at the Institute on Disability at the University of New Hampshire. Many people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and co-occurring behavioral health needs are misunderstood, underserved, and underestimated. The START model was developed to improve access to mental health and crisis services for people with intellectual and developmental disabilities and their families. People referred for START services are typically in crisis, so START first helps to resolve an immediately destabilizing situation. This allows for hope and change going forward. Through positive whole person approaches, START helps people and their families to foster resilience, to overcome the inevitable stressors of life. START programs work with each person, their family, supports, and services to ensure that all have a common understanding of the person's strengths and abilities, in addition to their vulnerabilities and mental health needs. Now We Have Hope, The Strength of the START Community, is a compilation of 3 short films about the impact START has had on people and their families in Texas, North Carolina, and New York. In this segment, Shelle Goodwin demonstrates the approaches a START coordinator employs to help people not only avoid crises, but gain health, build on their strengths, and live their best lives. Shelle, Strength Spotting.
Oh, good morning.
Shelle Goodwin, coordinator NC START Central, visits Braxton Utley at the Resource Center.
Those are some awesome shots.
They fist bump.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
So you're ready to head home, huh? Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, I could do a little bit of talking a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, what was your favorite part of the weekend? What'd you do?
My favorite part of the weekend, playing Uno and stuff.
Playing Uno,
Yeah.
Hanging out with everyone, right?
And I would be selling candles pretty soon.
Yes, talk to me about that. You have saved up so much money.
Yes.
From making your candles.
Yes.
Braxton has utilized the NC START Resource Center where our guests come in and work on goals. Mm-hmm. There's very much a social piece to it, but it is very therapeutic too. Good morning for basketball. Hey, Shaniqua, Courtney.
Braxton shoots a basketball.
Oh, you were robbed, Braxton.
Director JILLAINE Baker.
The role of a START coordinator is to see beyond just the decrease of crises, but to say, where are their strengths? How can we use their strengths to get them engaged in more things that make them happy?
That's awesome. I'm proud of you for
Thank
that.
you.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Saving up money for
my camcorder.
your camcorder.
Almost gonna look like Sony, but it's a little bit smaller.
Yeah. Well, that's exciting. I'm really proud of you, and your parents are too.
Yeah.
They said you
but
saved
I want to get the big one just like it. Almost look that one.
The happier you are, the less crises you're probably going to have because you're staying excited and involved in things that you care about.
I'm just really proud of the way that you've been saving up your money and things that you created with your own hands.
Yeah.
When we identify our strengths and then can use those strengths in the community, we build resilience.
And they had music playing and everything.
They did.
Clinical Director Jill Hinton.
The role of the START coordinator is initially to do assessment, figure out what's going on, not only with the individual, but with the system that's surrounding the person.
More exercise.
And figure out where there may be gaps, where there needs to be more linkages, where we need to connect parts of the system.
Braxton high-fives a woman.
A strong START coordinator has a lot of empathy and can stay calm in the midst of a really big storm.
JILLAINE.
We talk a lot about START coordinators providing oxygen for families, and sometimes that's just being a peaceful presence.
Oh, great. Is your mom here?
And my dad.
A car arrives.
Yeah.
Yay. I know you're ready to see him.
Yeah.
Tell him about your weekend.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to chat with them a bit too, if that's okay.
Yeah.
My caseload has 25 people, and when I start working with a new person, what I want to do immediately is get to know them, but also get to know who is in their system of support. Hey, Thomas. Who are the people that are closest to them, their family members, their psychiatrist, care coordinator that oversees their services through the MCO.
His father, Thomas Utley, joins them.
Day programs, school. Was it 5 in a row or something?
Yeah.
At
He
least?
liked basketball.
Yeah.
He liked basketball.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And he also had a great weekend and, you know, connected with everyone like he always does. And
That's good.
you enjoyed that. We had an artist in the house, huh? Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Did you do any cooking?
I did a little bit.
You
Did
did?
you
Yeah,
help with
I
some?
cooked some rice and
Oh,
everything,
good. Thank you for
and some
that.
vegetables. You know, I'm trying to get my life together too, put my life on the track. So,
Well, you're doing a great job.
yeah,
Yeah, and it takes people around you too, right?
Yeah.
We all need some support and
and need a person with me, be all the way.
yeah, definitely. And your parents are great supports, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're a wonderful pop.
Braxton pats his arm.
Well, I thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
You one of my favorites.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Well, as long as we struggle, we got to go through it, pop.
Yeah,
Right, we can
that's
make it.
right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We can make it.
Yep, that's right.
Stay focused. All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
You gonna come back and visit us soon?
Yeah.
Well, good. So you
Yeah.
feel good about everything when you're getting ready to head out? You
Yeah.
feeling okay
A
about
little bit.
things?
A little
Good.
bit.
Good. I
So
hope you
you-
have a good day.
Got everything ready?
Y'all packed up?
It's already packed up in the house.
No,
Packed
good
up and
job.
ready to go, huh? Well, good.
In the house,
Ooh, this is the artwork we heard about. Let me
Braxton opens
see,
a paper with
Braxton.
anime-style sketches on it.
Ooh, oh my goodness, Braxton. I like how it shows the different emotions of the characters. These might be something we could use for people here that pictures help, you know, them express their emotions and how they're feeling. Yeah, very cool. Friday, when I said what was for dinner, I was like, ooh, mac and cheese, Braxton. And your dad was like,
eat it like once a month.
yeah,
It's got to be small portions.
yeah.
Part of what puts people in crisis is they've lost their sense of well-being. Their resilience is gone.
Like that.
Founder of the
Well, you
START
would
model,
be-
Joan B.
You would
Beasley.
be an asset.
And ways to build resilience are well-being practices. Health and nutrition, sleep, exercise, community, making a contribution.
And if you don't think about it as exercise, you think about it as movement, you know, just kind of.
All these things really help to promote people's well-being, to reconstruct their resilience so that they can go out in the world and succeed again.
Thomas opens a door for Shelle and Braxton to leave the house. Then he follows them outside. At Thomas's car,
Have a great day, guys. See you tomorrow, Braxton. See you, bye.
Maggie Robbins, clinical director, NC START Central, leads a crisis admission review for the Resource Center.
Hey everybody, thanks for being here. We are going to be looking at a multidisciplinary look at a case that Shelle actually recently reactivated. This is an individual that START worked with many years ago and know well, but she's had some pretty significant changes and challenges in the past several months.
She has been in crisis and back and forth to the emergency room, has had to stay at Central Regional Hospital, and
Medical director, Dr. Roberto Blanco.
I work with the coordinators in a variety of capacities in terms of the medical conditions, pharmacology, and often the genetic conditions that may be undiagnosed.
lots of loss and trauma, and so that's created lots of instability, of course, and so we do our clinical case consultations weekly, and our nurse and doctor are so wonderful at just helping us think to ask the right questions and do those clinical assessments to try to learn more about if someone's being self-injurious and hitting themselves in the jaw. Could they have a toothache?
Urinary tract infection.
You know, there's just so many things that people might not be realizing that could be going undetected. Trying to tease out some things.
Roberto.
People with intellectual disability have medical conditions at much higher rates than the neurotypical population, and that's due to a number of factors.
Very long history, but she also,
You know, there's also a high vulnerability to trauma.
some family members were murdered, and she also suffered the loss of her AFL provider, her guardian, and she saw her as mom, and actually still calls her mom.
Maggie.
We're there to offer insight and help coordinators see the biopsychosocial picture.
The significant signs of sedation, stumbling, slurring her speech, her spoon couldn't meet her mouth.
Maggie.
Since this is such a complex picture, do you mind if I take some notes
That'd
on the
be
board?
great.
We're gonna kind of map out all the biopsychosocial pieces that are happening for her, especially because it sounds like medication is playing a
Shelle.
The biopsychosocial approach is really important because it highlights how many factors impacts an individual.
So I'm gonna write notes as we're talking through this, okay?
Maggie writes on a whiteboard.
Biological meaning, heredity, medical issues, their overall wellness. The psycho would be their emotional well-being. And then the social would be their environment, their social stressors, what comes into play in their everyday life. As sleep and
Yeah, so she could have like a delirium. You know, she could be having some type of medical issue going on, which could be combining with some of her medication changes and her sedation.
Right.
While she's here, we'll do the meds assessment to try to look at side effects of medications. And we usually, like to have a little time to get to know her before we actually complete that.
Nurse Kathy Klutz-Heil.
The other thing that I would like us to
Joan.
This clinical team of START is on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This allows people to have access when they need it in real time. And because of that, people know that there is help on its way, and they're hopeful.
Roberto.
There's so many barriers to care, and there's so much difficulty navigating the system, which is so complex. And a lot of these families just feel completely alone, and these coordinators go into their homes, and they hold the family's hands through the whole process, and they feel like someone cares.
Really hopeful. Yeah, I was just gonna say, I have hope.
Shelle and Larry Wright, Children's Clinical Coordinator, meet with Suzette Robinson.
Thanks for meeting with me today.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's so good to see you again,
Larry.
Suzette.
See you again. Thanks so much for helping Collin out.
Of course.
I've been keeping Larry informed and everyone else on the team. We'll come up with some things, Suzette. We will, yeah. It's not all on you. Yeah, I just want you to know that.
I'm just kind of stuck.
Yeah, no, that happens.
So he'll get so excited about going that I can't.
That anticipatory anxiety,
it's
I know.
so OCD, I just can't, and it just gets so much, it gets intense.
Collin at home. The young man bounces hard on a large inflated ball.
Can't calm him down. I can get bit 100 times, but I don't want him, I don't want him to get hurt like that. And I'm like, if he does it to me again, then I'm trying to protect myself,
right, of course.
And things kind of happen.
Yeah,
You don't want him to get hurt whatsoever.
And one thing that you do, Suzette, that you have the ability to try to stay calm and neutral in those moments, and that's huge.
How does he respond to just to completing a task that's assigned to him? Like, does he take pride in
He tries
helping
to
or
fast forward through it as quickly as possible.
The team approach is so important. We are very in tune to each other's cases. You're identifying strengths within your teammates, and you learn from your teammates every day. And always know you can reach out early stage, just when you think something might be a little off at any point. Oh,
Thank you for that.
We're all learning together.
Because it's not always a positive thing that I'm in. It's just, day in and day out.
Yeah.
It's how to do what I have to do, It's just a life-changing experience having an autistic child anyway,
Yeah. You don't have to have all the answers. That's okay. We'll sit down
It's
together.
a process.
Sure don't.
It's a process.
It is. So we'll come up with things together, absolutely, and be mindful of Collin's, skills and interests. And you're the most strength-based person I know. You stay positive all the time. And
well, I have to help. I can't be depressed about it. I have to fight for him. You
do.
Larry.
We're the ones in the system initially who have to kind of spark that faith that things can get better for this person. They are capable of success. It's our collective job to, we're all going to work together to find out what that success is going to look like, but we have to have faith that it's possible.
So when he was...
Shelle puts a hand on her shoulder.
It's okay. Yeah.
I just had a lot of anxiety, with him coming home.
Yeah, of course.
And with his behaviors, it was it's like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah.
And you guys were able to bring him here and help me reinforce, you know, who Collin is, how to deal with him. So when I come home, you gave me some tools to help him out.
I would say the hardest part of my job is not always feeling like you have the right answers when you just really want to fix something.
Hit his nose,
And then also seeing the prevalence of trauma. That's hard to see, and it's hard to not think about, and to put that aside because you care about these people.
Mainly, I don't want him to hurt himself when he gets overstressed and everything.
But we'll collaborate and come together, and I don't want you to feel like you're alone. We're going to come up with some ideas to help structure that time, you know, create a schedule. And does that sound okay?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It's like a relief, honestly. Because I didn't know. Thank you so much for helping me, you guys.
Of course. It's so good to see you again.
Oh.
Yes.
Shelle crosses a parking lot. Visit to Braxton's Transition Day program, A Small Miracle.
Thanks for your time today.
Oh, thanks for being here.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about Braxton's stay with us. He was a little more anxious, but overall, things went really well. But I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew that.
She enters a job training room.
I didn't know if you guys have any questions or any thoughts or any maybe updates on what it's looked like here recently.
She goes to Braxton and two other men sitting at a table.
Hey there. How you doing today?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I think the most recent intervention that we did, starting off with telling him what he's done right.
Transition program instructor, Kara Callahan.
Like the most recent one is he walked away from the situation. That was huge.
Right.
That was so big. And so I just like repeatedly complimented him on that. And then once he was able to work through his feelings and we gave him space and he talked through it, then we were able to get back to reality and like what really happened.
Right, that makes sense.
We've seen a lot of growth and he's showing more humility and also leadership.
Yeah. How are you doing, Kenneth? You okay?
Yeah, I help in the kitchen.
You know, something that's important to Braxton and that he brings up, the fact that he used to be employed, and that is certainly something that he takes pride in.
Yes, for a while.
Wendy told me. I'm so excited for you.
I already bought it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I paid a good money for it.
You must have done that yesterday.
Wendy.
So we're really trying to look at micro enterprise so that he can continue to enhance his business. He's talked about candle design, the labels.
See, you're talking lingo that I don't even know about. You're talking like a director.
And then bringing that to different fairs.
Yeah.
That's great. It just shows how serious you
I
are.
was going to ask you this. I was going to ask you this. Were you willing to work for me?
Am I willing to wait for you?
Work
For you?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to my boss, huh?
Yeah.
I know you're gonna include some of your friends in your movie, right?
Yeah, that's one of them.
He points at one of the men at the table.
Awesome, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'll always be your #1 supporter. How about that?
Yeah.
I'm always gonna be behind you.
I was going to ask you this. Would you like to be the makeup person?
Ooh, the makeup person, like a behind-the-scenes person. That would be cool. Yeah. I know Wendy gets to maybe be the dragon in your movie.
Joan.
We start out with people coming to us who have experienced dehumanization, humiliation, trauma, suffering, real suffering. And through our humanistic approach, it allows people to have access to the real core of who they are, to work and play and love and share in life's experiences just like everybody else.
Shelle.
What I love about my job is instilling hope and kind of providing that immediate oxygen to support systems and individuals that may be feeling overwhelmed.
She sits with Suzette and Larry in a pavilion at the Resource Center.
I'm really lucky that every day I get to work with part of a model that has the same philosophies that I do. It's that positive support approach and making sure that people are part of their communities, that they don't feel alone. You getting sick of me yet?
No, I wouldn't say that, but you're a great person.
Thank you. It's been my pleasure to be able to have you in my life and work with you and your family.
Directed and produced by Dan Habib. Executive producers, Joan B. Beasley, Karen L. Weigley, Edited by Franziska Blom. Filmed by Dan Habib. Production assistants, Lindsay Alsop, Karin Clausen. Sound and color finishing, Eric Masunaga, Shannon Mignaldi at Modulus. Special thanks to Shelle Goodwin, the staff at NC Start Central, Braxton Utley and his family, Suzette and Collin Robinson, A Small Miracle Transition Day Program, Jill Hinton. This film was funded by the Center for START Services at the University of New Hampshire Institute on Disability. More information at www.centerforstartservices.org. Copyright 2020 Center for START Services.